It's a kind of historic thing.
A year ago,
Why we need an appointment and how good it is.
the first one
No. And
Ready? It's 10:02 on your computer.
Please come to order. You're not rowdy this month. Usually you're rowdy, you're milling around.
You've got us counted.
Everybody's all frozen.
We're your servants.
Good morning.
Morning.
Morning. I don't think we have to repeat that one. Everybody's wide awake. Moving right along. This is meeting number 173 of TMG Dayton, the MAC group. Let's see, we're going to follow our normal agenda. For those of you who don't know what the normal agenda is, I'm about to tell you. We start out with what we call the welcome, which is where, it's also called the embarrassment. That's where we ask those people who are visiting us or brand new members to stand up and introduce themselves, tell us a little bit about what kind of computers they use, what they use them for, and what they would like to use them for. And this month, the people that we've got is Dan and Lenore. How do you pronounce your last name?
Gessner.
Gessner? Gessner? Well, you stood up, but he didn't.
No, he said you handle it.
Oh, okay.
Well, we live in Union, and we have 3 Macs. We have always been on Mac. I was worked in newspapers, and that's what we always used.
Okay.
So I introduced him to that. He works on a G5, and I work on the first generation of Intel. And then when I left my work, I bought the laptop, which is a G3, kind of limited in memory,
Okay.
but it's good for travel. We primarily, I use it for writing projects and some home slideshows and
Okay.
movies. And he has used it extensively for iMovie and iPhoto and iDVD. So we have really been learning the ins and outs of the iLife programs.
Okay.
And lots of things to share from our
And
travel.
are you self-employed or do you work for somebody?
We are just, no, neither one of us now are employed. We're both retired. I retired in January.
And who did you used to work for?
I'm
Who
sorry?
did you used to work for?
I used to work for the Catholic Telegraph. I was a news editor for
Okay.
18 years.
Okay.
So,
I worked for the Dayton Daily News.
Oh,
So I
okay.
just wanted to make sure
Yeah,
that I
well,
didn't have a
worked under my
competitor.
maiden name when North Christopher.
Well, say hello, folks.
Hello,
That wasn't too bad. Okay, after we do the welcome, also called the embarrassment, then we do a short news segment where we talk about things that are going on locally or things that are technology related. Anybody have any news items that have been coming up that they need to talk about since last month? Okay, you probably noticed that the next version of Mac OS X Leopard has not been released yet. We were hoping to do a demo of that today. It isn't going to happen because it hasn't been released yet. But that's okay. I hear they're going to release it on the 26th, which is my birthday.
I was reading last night, the 24th was the date. It was on one of the Mac Central, one of the...
Well, I'll have to call
Mac and
Steve Jobs and tell him if they're going to do it at
24th,
the end of
26th.
October, they need to do it on my birthday. I don't think they'll take my call. Any case, anybody have any other items of interest going on? Things have been fairly quiet this month, except for the very patent-related lawsuits that are going on in the technology industry. Okay, well, I think that's it for news items. You didn't have any news items, did you, Mr. Kurtner? Okay. I have a news item that I will relate to you before moving on to the next item, and that is we're looking for someone that's a member that would be interested in joining the leadership team of the group. Our leader, Mark Cobb, has taken a job in another state. Yeah. And he will not be able to help us run the organization anymore. It'll be a little bit of a commute from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So anyway, so I'm sort of in denial about the whole thing. Mark and I have been knocking against each other and coordinating, cooperating on a variety of different forums and projects for 23 years. So it's going to be interesting for me to adjust to that. In any case, what we're going to do today, I will not be doing the main presentation. We're going to have Tim Muhlbradt, who's an Apple representative based out of CompUSA, is going to be doing a presentation on iWork. Is that what we decided on?
That's correct.
iWork. I'm always appreciative to have Tim here because he never corrects me even when I am wrong, unlike Mark Cobb. In any case, he'll be doing the main presentation, and I will be subbing this month in the novice clinic. Okay, so just so everybody's got that sort of in mind. So, if somebody's interested in helping run the club, let us know, okay? And we may be doing some changing of duties and responsibilities and the roles that people play in the organization to accommodate the void that Mark is leaving behind. So, but the mission goes on because the need is still there. So we're going to miss him, but that doesn't mean we stop doing what we do. Let's see. I think that's
We
it.
could do iChat with him down in Saturday morning. You just iChat him and put him on a screen there.
That's true. Mark had been down in Chattanooga for a total of 2 days when he happened to be in a Starbucks and somebody was having problems with their Mac, and he helped them out. And they asked if he had a Mac, and he said yes, and they started talking. And then this person was telling him how their local Mac group had sort of vaporized, and they were trying to get it all back together.
Be
And
an
that's the
auxiliary.
last I heard of that story.
Franchise the Mac group.
TMG South.
That's right.
Okay, so anyway, but as you said, with the technology we have now, Mark and I video chat. You know, so I still get my little dose of Mark Cobb every week, telling me what I'm doing wrong, what I'm doing right. But I'm really going to miss him. It's you can tell I'm sort of flailing around here. I'm so used to having Mark here.
We get like a cardboard cutout full size of him.
Yeah, take a picture, just stand him
Set him
over,
over.
sit him over there on the
I
bench.
like this idea. I
Yeah.
like
You
this
see over
idea.
there.
Yeah.
And you know, when
He can
Art
haunt you.
Aronson turned 60, they had a cutout of him.
Yeah.
And, except that it got shot up. We could probably get something, he could tell
You
me
could
where
just
they
put
got
Mark's
it.
head on.
Okay, so anyway, enough of my flailing around, let's move on down the line. Let's do for sale or want. Anybody have anything for sale this month? Mr. Howe?
I have an iBook G3 500 megahertz. It's got a new 80 gig hard drive in it. Has, I think, 384 megs of RAM. And the battery's in fairly good shape. It's not great, probably good for a couple hours. But it works fine, you know, on direct, you know, hooked up directly. And I'm asking about $250 for it, so if anybody's interested.
Okay, and you'll send us an email on that?
I can do that.
Okay, that would be a good thing. Anybody else that have anything for sale or that they're looking for something? Going once, going twice? Okay, we have no pre-owned equipment to move this month. So we'll move on. Enough with that. Let's do help desk. Anybody have any problems this month? Make one up. Just make one
I have
up.
a question.
Okay, Don.
Yeah, we're still running the old iLife 6, and it's running fine, but we haven't gone up to 7. 7 or 8, anybody using it, and you like it better than the old?
Well, I just got playing around with, I took it to my neighbor's son's wedding and was able to put it on DVD, and I had a barrel full. I had some little glitches, but I solved them, and they ran it on their TV and loved it.
Have you used other versions of iLife? Because I've come up from 1 to 3 to 4, 5, 6.
I had the 6, but I really didn't use it that much, but, I don't know, when I got into it, it just seemed to flow real smooth.
I felt there was a big difference between 4 and 5, or 5 and 6.
The main difference with 8 is the change in the iMovie. It has a different interface, significantly different.
Yeah, it's not
And the
real.
original response from people was, you know, oh, it's different. But now that it's been out there a while, I think people are finding it's a little bit better for workflow.
But it lost some functionality.
If you're interested, Don, if you're interested, the club has just gotten, put in the order for our own copy of iLife 08. So, we could, if you want to see what it is before you buy it, we can make arrangements for that. Yes, ma'am?
We have iLife 08. We were anxiously awaiting it and put it in both our computers. And we initially had some nightmare experiences. And when we went on the NAG forum, we realized we weren't alone. And most of the problems were with the adjustment or the transitions that you would use, and you were getting what's called a green screen instead of the transition. And and so you'd have one slide, go to a green screen and come back. And so it really was frustrating for us. Plus the iMovie 08 it was very different, and my understanding was it was geared to those who would probably want to put it directly on YouTube or something, and that's something very quick. And for that, it's really well programmed. And just when we were really thinking, oh gosh, I wish we'd kept 06, Matt came out with updates. And so we did those updates, and we haven't burned anything with the updates, but I'm very, I'm gratified that they took care of that problem, because there was also a problem with iTunes reauthorization. Once you put in the 08, they would constantly say, you're not authorized to use this music on this computer. Well, of course, we all were. And so they also had an upgrade on the iTunes. The other nice thing about 08 is that they kept 06 for you, so that the iMovie, so that you can, I find I really like for my family presentations to use, it's easier for me to see the soundtrack at the bottom, so I use iMovie 06 for my presentation, since I don't put on YouTube. But the rest of it appears to be all working well now, and they apparently jumped on it in a hurry for those of us who were going, I can't do this, I'm getting a green screen, so they did work on that.
So if I could sort of encapsulate that.
Yes, but I do like the idea that they retained the 06, because I prefer that to the iMovie 08.
You mean
So the
the
capsule
iMovie
is-
06 version is in the i08 version? It's also
It's
there?
not,
No, the folder stays on your hard drive.
it stays on the.
06 stays on your hard drive, and a new folder is put on there for iMovie 08.
Oh, I see. So you can go back and grab
Yes.
the old folder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Not with all the others, just with the iMovie.
Right.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I think one of the significant things that a lot of people are missing, and especially for her, is that 08 supports direct input for hard drive-based camcorders and also USB devices, whereas an 06 does not.
Which reminds me, Kathy, didn't you had a hard drive based
Yes.
Yeah.
camcorder? Is that
Yeah,
working
that's
with?
why
Yeah.
Mark and I were emailing back and forth, because I couldn't figure out how to get the files from
Okay, and were you able to do that eventually?
with the,
With
oh,
the-
I had no problem with it.
Ah, okay.
It didn't work with 06. For me, it didn't.
No, I didn't, that's why I was,
Yeah.
I got
We
the
were-
camera and couldn't do it.
She has it's a Sony, right? A Sony?
Yeah.
Okay.
I bought it.
A Sony video cam, and it has its own special software if you're running a PC, but if you're running a Mac, you have to buy it. And so we were looking at free open source software projects
Well,
that
I
would do
was
the same
looking at
thing.
it and they said it wasn't available.
Right.
I turned my
It wasn't.
camcorder back in because it wouldn't work with that.
So again, that's a benefit from iMovie iLife 08.
I heard you say you lose some functionality with it. What do you lose?
Plugins. Right now, there's no, unless they've changed something recently.
I'm sure that's gonna change.
Yeah.
You lose some transition effects, you don't have the video and audio, just the video effects you lost. But you gain some new stuff too. You're able to filter colors in the film, which you used to only be able to do with Final Cut Express. Really, just mainly effects and transitions you either lost or have less, but all the other features are still there. And it's a little bit used to at first, but I've used both, and I did the same thing first time I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I don't like this, but after using it for a while, I find it's a lot, someone mentioned workflow earlier, it cuts your time in half, I felt like, especially doing, like, I mentioned doing family slideshows, I do that a lot, and, you can see the audio in the background, and I think it actually works out better, that's my own personal opinion, of course, everyone may look at it differently, but just not the old version of it.
One of the features which I read got lost was the chapter assignment. In other words, you can no longer do chapters in the iMovie. And I don't know how to do that in iDVD.
I don't know.
I really looked at the chapter.
Oh, yeah, you break the DVD up into several chapters, usually, not open there. 106.
Oh, I see what you mean,
I haven't
different
tried
slideshows,
it.
different.
Yeah, got different places, they got
You have a
finals, they got chapters.
Oh, yes.
one chapter or the other, to the beginning of
Do
it.
you have the chapter markers on the movie? Do you have the chapter markers in our movie? You just put the playhead where you want and go from markers and hit chapter marker, just drop it in as a yellow diamond. Is that what you used to do?
Oh, I don't know. I just played with it, but I don't know how I did it.
So, Peter, did they get you an answer to the question we had?
I think there's chapters.
Yeah, it was mine originally, but yeah.
Okay, anybody else? No other problems? Okay, let's see, we've done news, we don't have any jobs, no raffle this month. Okay, see, that was good, they didn't boo, I figured they
I
would have
heard
booed.
somebody go,
Okay, no raffle this month, but Mr. Georges is working on it. Let's see, told you that Mark Cobb's in here, bum, bum, bum. No jobs to announce.
Buy, sell, you did?
What else have we got?
What are we gonna do for your birthday? What are we gonna do for your birthday?
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I think I'm gonna go out, eat Mexican margaritas.
Say where?
Yeah. The only, oh, no, I won't be able to do that, because I'm gonna be at OSU for Parents' Weekend.
What a way to spend your birthday.
My young, okay, I'm just flailing around here, but I'm just gonna share this with you. My youngest, Andrew, started as a freshman at OSU, and so we did the whole transporting the youngest out to the dorm and all that. I'm a Northwestern graduate, and so is my wife. And I felt like Frodo in the land of Mordor over there. Everywhere I look, these strange green leaves that they say are buckeyes, but we know they're marijuana. And the red and the white, and it was just, I still haven't recovered. In any case,
That's it.
what else we got going on?
stay at the Blackwell.
Hmm?
Stay at the Blackwell. They give you a good rate during the Parents' Weekend. The motel
We've
on
already,
campus.
wife's already taken care
See
of.
that thing? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's a nice
So
place.
You don't understand. I just get in the car when they tell me, and I get out when they tell
Point
me.
it that
and life
direction.
just goes so much better. And you just do what the ladies tell you to do. Right, ladies? If we just do what we're told.
Well, now that you say that, that's what I did.
Okay, but some of the things that are coming up, there are some new products that are in the pipeline. They're going to be coming out of Apple fairly soon. We do have the new OS that's coming out at the end of this month, hopefully. And supposedly there's some new products that are going to be coming out in November. So it's going to be interesting. We'll see what comes out from that. So let's see. I'm going to say, why don't we go ahead and take our break early, unless any of the people walking in have announcements they need to make to the group?
Actually, I got a really great, cool thing yesterday.
Okay.
Well, anybody who may have, if you're on the other mailing list, I lost my cell phone recently. Isn't that cool? No.
That explains why you don't return my call.
Well, or somebody else was calling you because somebody found my phone, as I found out 2 days later by checking their website.
Ah.
Problem is, of course, some of us live off our cell phones. We've got our contacts, our emails, everything on there. So I've been kind of doing some recovery, but I was actually, because I'm a Cincinnati Bell, some phone services have, some phone providers have services where you can do like backups, so they do like online, over-the-air backup. I found a phone yesterday for $50. It's like a last year's model type of thing. Bluetooth, automatically is compatible with iSync. So all my contacts sync over, all my addresses, all my emails, all my appointments, every contact. Really great deal, $50.
Yeah. But it means that you have to have Bluetooth
Yeah,
functionality in your
if Mac has
laptop,
Bluetooth,
and you have to have Bluetooth functionality in the phone.
the phone has Bluetooth for $50.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty nice.
I'm just repeating that because otherwise people are going to go home and they're going to take out their cell phone and say, hey, sync! And they're not going to know that you got to have these other
Yes.
technology.
It's a nice little flip phone with a camera and all that stuff, so I've actually been able to take pictures and audio transfer them to my Mac and make my own ringtones from my iTunes library and just transfer them over because it works with MP3s and all that stuff.
Give a kid a new toy.
Yeah. Well, I'll admit, the 4-year-old instantly wanted to start playing with it and take my picture. It's my mistake for taking a picture of it first.
And then I see we have another guest that arrived.
Hello,
Do you want to introduce yourself again?
my name is Charles Booker. I work with Bill at the Data Division. And my announcement would be that if you're using iWeb 1.0 and you upgrade to iWeb 2.0, it can break your website.
Yeah, make sure you got a backup.
Yeah, make sure you have a backup copy of your previous 1.0 version of your website and the software, because it can, when you upgrade to 2.0, if you have a website that has a podcast on it, it completely restructures the entire site in different folders and everything. So be careful if you upgrade from iWeb 1.0 to
Thank you, Charles. Get yourself a chair.
all right.
I forgot to put the rest of them out. Okay, why don't we take a short 10-minute break? It's 25 after 10 now. Take a 10-minute biological break. The ladies' room here on the right, and the men's room is downstairs. You go to that door and downstairs. We will reconvene in 10 minutes. The main presentation will be on iLife 08 by Tim Muhlbradt. iWork, I'm sorry. Oh, good.
I'm wondering if there should have been iLife now between all the
No.
questions.
It may morph into that.
You decide what you want to present when you get up here, okay? Don't let them strong-arm you.
All right.
And then,
We have some time left over.
after, do you want to do Tim's introduction to the group?
Yeah.
And I'll do and then I'll be back in the novice clinic running an open forum group for novices. Okay, so see you back here in 10 minutes.
Okay, our main presenter today is Tim Muhlbradt. He's out of the local CompUSA office. He is an Apple employee, and he's going to go over iWork and anything else we can talk him into.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Team G, you guys have always been great. Ever since I started with Apple and worked out at CompUSA, started Mark was always in. We always chit chats. We always had a good time there. I'd like to take just a brief second to explain exactly my position, because sometimes it confuses a lot of people. I do actually work for Apple, but I work in a CompUSA. So probably about 6 years ago, Apple started a program called the ASC program, Apple Solutions Consultant. The idea behind it was some of their resellers, particularly CompUSA, which is really one of the big and only one back then, besides some independent resellers, like you guys may know, like the Mac Depot, what used to be Warren Garnell's called MacTown. Besides a big nationwide chain, when you walked into a CompUSA, you'd come over to the Mac section and you'd ask the sales associate, hey, can you tell me about one of these Macs? And they'd say, you don't want one of these things, let me take you over here. So Apple said, well, we need to change this. So what they started doing is they started paying people like myself to come into these stores and change the culture, train their employees, make sure that when customers came in, they had someone knowledgeable to speak to. So that's what they've done. That's where I'm at, and that's what I do. So at CompUSA, it's over by the Dayton Mall, 221 Springboro Pike. So if you guys ever need some help, stop on by and we'll do what we can. My email's on here if you want to write that down if you have any questions. At the end of the slide, in the presentation, I'm going to have that info also, as well as some extra information. So, but what we're here today to do is talk about iWork 08. What's that? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to have it at the end also. So if you didn't write it down now, yes, I will have it at the end. So I'm sorry. Sure. Everybody okay? All right. So again, today we're here to talk about iWork 08. iWork is fairly new. I think it started in 06, but before that, one of its components to iWork, Keynote, I believe was the first way it was sold separately, just as a Keynote. And it kind of evolved from there into iWork. At 06, it added a page layout program. It'd be, if you're familiar in the Windows world, it would be similar to like a Microsoft Publisher. And then this year, when they came out with this one, they added a brand new one called Numbers. So right now we're compromised with 3 different programs. We've got Keynote, Pages, and Numbers. And what I'd like to do is we're going to take a little bit in-depth look on each. Basically what's going to happen is I'm going to show a couple of slides on each program. Then we're going to actually delve right into the program and actually look at some of the things in there. And then we can either after each separate program have some questions, or we can wait to the end, whichever's better for you guys. So maybe if you have questions, write them down, and then I'll ask at the end of each program if we have any questions. If not, we'll wait to the end and you can ask questions about any of the programs. So here's what Keynote looks like. It hasn't changed much from the initial look. Some new things that we've added, new text and object effects. So if you saw the spark when it come across the screen there, that's something new that we're doing. And we'll take a look at some of those. So one of them, blast. There's the comment effect. Bouncy. We've also added some new transition effects. These are what happen between each slide. So here's a look at some of those. Blur, swap. That's pretty cool. And confetti. This is my favorite. That's pretty neat. So let's go ahead and take a look at Keynote. You have to excuse me because I am working on a lower resolution now than what I was planning on. So you have to bear with me here. So, all right. Everybody see that okay? All right. So just briefly, let's take a look at what all do we have going on here. Right here on the left side, you can see, let me just open up a new window here so I'm not looking at this presentation. When you first open up Keynote, it's going to ask you to pick a theme for your presentation. So they've actually added a whole lot of new ones this year than what you saw in iWork 06. I'll just kind of briefly swing on the list just so you guys can get a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and select this one here. This is one of my favorites. This is, I believe this is new in this version. So, again, just looking at the interface, let's get an idea of what this looks like and what all these buttons are, because what we'll notice as we go into the other programs, they've unified this interface. So it sticks, with the Mac theme of, once you learn one program, usually it's pretty easy to learn the other ones. So I feel they've done the same thing with iWork, and especially now with this version, because it seems like it's finally all now come together and made it easier to look at. So first thing is our view. We can change about the look and view, how everything looks. Before we do that, let's go ahead and add some extra slides in here. So right now, we're on slide 1. Let's go ahead, under the master's theme, we can actually pick what we want the template to look like. So maybe if I just want this first one, I'm going to have just a title screen. I'm just going to put hello on here. So, again, like this. So there's one. Let's go ahead and if we're going to add in our next slide, we can go ahead and hit the plus symbol here. I'm going to change my view, the way I view the document back to Navigator view. This is one of my favorites. You can actually see a thumbnail of each slide over here. So on this slide, we'll go into our master's list, and maybe we're going to have some pictures in there. So I can pick photo horizontal. That's going to throw up a template for us to work with, right? So from here, I may want to go into my media browser, and if you use iLife, you're probably familiar with this media browser. Again, it goes to show the consistency between all of the Apple applications. I think that's really what we're going for here, is to make it easy as possible. So, if you're not familiar with the media browser, what that does is it gives you access to all of your audio. So that's audio in GarageBand or iTunes. It gives you access to all your photos in iPhoto. Or Aperture, if you're using Aperture on your machine too, it'll also give you access to those photos. And then also to all your movies. Now remember, with the change to iLife 08, all your movies are stored in a central location now, kind of like iPhoto. So really, to get the most out of this, you should be using iLife 08. Yes?
You said all stored in the same location. At what resolution? I mean, movies are pretty big.
Correct.
Do you get a 25 terabyte drive with
Well, I shouldn't say stored in the same location. I should say they can be all accessed from a single interface,
Okay.
kind of like iPhoto works. So you can actually go into iMovie and you can see a list of all your movies in one place. I guess they might be on an external hard drive or another
Okay.
source, but
All right.
it's not like before where you couldn't actually view them inside iMovie. You had to actually say, hey, open this film or import it, things like that. So again, here it's because it's all template based. It's a matter of just drag and drop. So if I go into maybe my events in iPhoto, if you're using the iLife 08, or you can actually just go down to the photo view, and I can just come in here and I can drag and drop right into the templates, change those photos and how this slide is going to look. So that works there. Again, I apologize, it's a little difficult to view at this resolution. Got all this stuff going on here. Maybe this will work better over here. So then we do have also an area for text. Obviously, we can double click there and type what we wish to say. Some of these might be one of some of these other things that are up here. So I'd just like I'd like to go through what each of these items at the top are. So we've looked at how we view our presentation. This is called light table view. If you use Aperture, you're familiar with what that means. All your slides will be laid out, and then you can swap the order of them very easily. Right. I'm going to go back to the navigator view here. Let's go ahead and add in another slide so we can actually have some more stuff to look at. We can also just, at any point in this view, just drag and drop. So if I ever want to change the order at any point. Let's say I'm 3 slides in, right, and I say, I don't really know if I like this theme. Well, that's okay because you can just come in here and change it at any point. It's going to reapply that theme on those slides.
Now, did you just change the theme by slide?
It appears that way. So
Do you have a master, like PowerPoint does, that if you change the master theme, it changes all slides?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how
They
that
have a
works.
thing up there called Masters.
Yeah, this is how you actually.
Select all of them.
Well, I use the if you use Apple A also, or hold the Apple button and select all. I'm sure you can change them all by
Yeah.
switching
What
that
happens if
way.
you go into view? Does it show a view master? No.
So it appears
Okay.
it shows the versions of both.
Yeah.
That's what it's showing in there. Hide that back from there. All right, let me get rid of this media browser here so we have some room to work with.
Is there an undo?
Absolutely. Always. That's one of my favorites. Command Z. You don't have to go up to the menu bar.
And multiple undos.
Yes, absolutely. So let's say that maybe there's not a template that really fits our needs. Maybe we want to, have maybe text in different areas. So just like some of these other programs, we can create a text box, type in some text, whatever we wish to say, right? And then we can go ahead and move that wherever we want to. We can readjust the size, things of that nature. Tables, of course, we can create like an Excel, a table in the document. We can pick the amount of rows and columns this table has, whether it has a header or not. Again, let me get over here so we can actually see this. So maybe I wanted to put some data right in this slide and say, all right, this is the TNG users, and so on. And we have different data along the side here. So that can be incorporated right into your slide, and you've built that right in it, opposed to using an external program like, if you're using Office where you have to use Excel and then import that into your presentation. Same thing you can do with, get rid of this, actually just go ahead and open a new slide here. so fresh new canvas to work on. Maybe I want to put a chart in there. So I can go ahead and pick the style of chart I want. Let's go with this bar style here. And just as it's actually viewable here. So yeah, and that's it. Starting in the iLight 06 version, they made it all 3D is what you could do. And you can even get a little bit more detailed. So you can actually, like right now, if I want to add another row, I can come up here to this chart data editor, and I can, let's call it region 3. If that makes sense. Change some of this data to 7. All right. So as you can see, we added some data on there. Now in our inspector area over here, which we'll get into a little more detailed look at actually what the inspector is here in a second. But when you first open up this chart, it's going to bring up this window as well as this one. This inspector, this holds true for pretty much everything in the program. This is just for just this chart. So I can come in here at any point, I can change this chart. Maybe I want to go to a pie graph instead, right? So I can choose that, it flips it up for me. I want to change the chart depth. Check this out. What was that? Come in here and do these different types of things. Maybe I want a title on the chart, so I'll have to actually scroll up to show that.
If you drag text one over the other, does it block it out, or does it both come through when you overlay it?
Text, I'm not.
Two
Or
different
if you take the
text
text you put in and drag it sort of on top of the other a little bit, does it totally block it out, or do you see both of them?
Is it transparent or opaque?
Yeah, transparent.
Put it in.
Text where at?
Add a
Put it in
text-
two text
Just add a
boxes.
text box and see if it's transparent text box window or not.
I believe it's gonna be.
Yeah, see it's transparent, so.
Oh, on the pie chart itself?
Yeah, on the pie
okay,
chart,
Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
Or over another piece of
Now, we put another one on top of that and see what happens.
Yeah.
It's transparent.
It's transparent. Now, you could probably shade the box to a certain color and make it solid if you wanted.
Absolutely.
Now, that original bar chart that you had, the contrast wasn't very good. Can you change that colors easily?
Yes.
It had dark blue against black, and so,
That's
Yeah,
the
we'll go ahead and change
background
it back
slide.
here.
well, either the background or can you change the bar chart colors?
Yes. And let's see. So I should be able to go.
What about
there,
light-
chart colors.
Lighting style?
right there.
Yeah, chart colors.
So I highlighted the chart.
And there's the colors on the right.
Here it appears over here. Never actually.
Drag the first.
Drag.
Okay.
There you go, makes them stand out.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
So there you go.
Okay, cool.
Let's get rid of some of this stuff now. Move on. So the other thing too, as you're building this, because you might be doing this over multiple days or even multiple weeks, maybe you get to a point you're not sure what you want to put, or maybe you just had to add in a little comment, so you can put a little sticky here that says, don't forget to whatever that may be, right? And then you can leave this here before you're done with your final project, and then you know on this slide that you need to do this. So as you're previewing it before you get ready to do the final thing, you know you've got something to do yet.
Would it show in a slideshow?
Let's see what. And no, it does not.
Ah, okay. Fancy.
After you finish your presentation like this, can you export that as a PowerPoint document? And if so, what do you lose in terms of the items you created when it's doing in PowerPoint?
Sure. All right. So that's a great question, and we can go ahead and talk about that now because we're going to bring that up. So that's one of the huge advantages of Keynote. If you go to File Export, it has many different options you can export as. One of those is a PowerPoint. Just keep in mind, if you're going to export as a PowerPoint and you've used a feature that's not available in PowerPoint, it's not going to show up properly. So if you use a 3D chart and PowerPoint doesn't support 3D charts, it's not going to. It might show up, but you're not going to be able to edit it, right? Or
I guess that's what I'm asking is what will show up? In other words, if you finish a project and you want to distribute it widely to a lot of people, you want them to be able to see as close as possible what you created in Keynote.
but you know they don't have, you know, how much are you gonna lose in terms of special effects, that type of thing?
That's a question I can't answer because I'm not as familiar with PowerPoint.
Honestly, I've seen more
things in
lost from PowerPoint to Keynote than the other way around. I haven't noticed anything that gets lost from
PowerPoint
Keynote.
doesn't support a lot of these quick time-based transitions.
The new one does.
The new one does?
Does it? Okay.
You know, mail has a
So I'm
thing,
exporting on for quick time to maybe this can-
mail has a thing that says make PC friendly, for instance. Make attachments PC friendly.
Right.
It's one of the-
You can also do a PDF export, and that sometimes will, you know.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah, it'll do all of, you know, even the automations.
Or even the flash thing,
They
if you're just
can't-
gonna play it.
Yeah, they can't edit, obviously, a PDF unless they have like, the Acrobat. But, you know, you can just go as a regular, as an image, as a PNG, which is, would be similar to like a JPEG, for example. Or you can actually just go out to a QuickTime movie, because what you can do is you can actually record your voice over the presentation. Let's say you're not gonna be available to do a presentation somewhere, or maybe you wanna set up a demo kiosk at a location, right? You can actually record your voice over the presentation as if you were there presenting it, and then when you're done, you can save it as a QuickTime movie, and then it'll actually just, you can have it set up to just repeat over and over again. So it's actually doing your presentation without you there. Or maybe you're gonna post it to your website, right, with your recording over it, so you can do that as well. So a bunch of different export options, which I think is pretty neat. Actually, to bring up a funny story, I had a gentleman come in the store the other day, and he just wanted to know how to get some stuff out of Final Cut Express into Flash, and he obviously didn't want to have to buy the Adobe product just to do that, just convert it. So I was like, hey, just buy the iWork for $79 and import, export as QuickTime, put it into just a white back slide, and then click go to Flash. So for him, that was a really great thing. All right, so let's get some more into some of this more interesting stuff here. Smart builds. Remember when I first brought up the presentation, we saw like the comet and some of these other type of effects that happen on the text. Smart builds is where you do all these types of things. So let me just go ahead and open up a new slide here so we can look at that. And let's go to our, let me pick one that's going to work out well for this. Let's just do, actually this one. So we've just got multiple things going on, right? Let's go ahead and bring up our Smart Build menu. Oops, actually, let's go ahead and select something first. Bring up our Smart Build menu. And let's see here, what's a good one to use? Let's do Shuffle right now. So, and again, I apologize, we got a lot of stuff going on the screen here, so I'm trying to make sure we'll be able to see what's going on here. Just drag this to the bottom. Let me go ahead and also we're going to bring up our media browser here. So what we need to do is we need to drag some other pictures into our area down here. So let's just drag a couple of these pictures out of our media browser. All right. And now we've got those in. Let's go ahead and resize these a little bit. Too much going on. All right, well, I'm not going to make it look perfect because really we're just trying to show the idea of here how to do this. So, right now you have three different options, and again, maybe I should just talk a little bit more about this inspector before I get too deep here. So, at any point, you can bring up your inspector by, usually it shows up on this toolbar because of resolution, and we have to actually hit the right arrow. It shows our other options. So, then hitting that, it's going to actually bring up this menu system right here. So at any point, whether I can highlight text, pictures, whatever, I can come in here through and adjust these different types of things. These are just different things on the document itself. This here are the different transition effects that you can have, and we'll take a look at that here in a second. This is to do with all the animation. Currently, we're working on a smart build right now, so that's why we're in that category. If we wanted to work on change the text into different styles, or left justify, center justify, those types of things. We wanted to add some type of 3D or shadow effects to our text. And the list goes on. If you've used, Pages or the previous iWork, or I'm trying to remember where else this appears at, this is also in some of the I guess it's not highlighted. But at any rate, let's go ahead and take a look at how this works then. So right now, where the effect is shuffle, and let's take a look at what this looks like now. Shuffled our photos around, all right? So that was that effect. Now we may also want to, on our entrance to the slide, you may want to, what they call a build-in. So this is when the slide first appears. We want to have any type of effect. So I'm going to pick blinds here on this one. Let's go ahead and see what that does for us. See there, on the introduction of that slide, we have a blind effect. When we hit our button to advance our slide, show the shuffle effect, and then we go to our next slide. So that would where the build out would come in. If we actually wanted to
build in.
right, so build out would be on the exit of our slide. Do we want to have an effect there? So when we choose, you know, we can highlight the section, and again, it's hard to see right now. I'm on this photo, so I can maybe the build's out on this photo instead of what we've been doing it on, and maybe I want to go to this confetti effect, right? And you can see the preview in there. So let's go and take it anyway. So now our build in, we've got the blinds. Our advancement gets us the shuffle, and then our build out, we've got the confetti. So pretty amazing effects. Not really hard to do. I mean, they made it pretty easy. It's a little confusing at first understanding all these terms, build in, build out, and all this stuff, but once you get the idea, it makes it pretty simple. So let me go ahead and open up a new, actually we got a new one. So let's look at some of these transition effects. So also, not only dealing with, we just talked about a build out, but let me highlight this slide right here. Let's go ahead and do this one, the bar chart, right? And then I can go over here to the transition button in our inspector. And right now you can see transitions highlighted. So let's go down and pick one of these. So we've got 3D effects as well as 2D. Again, 3D were new as of, I think, last year. I don't think these are brand new to this year's ones. Let's go to that color paints one. We saw that in the introduction slides. So now that we've added that transition, let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like now. So between this slide and the next, we're going to get the color paints effect, and right to our next one. And again, we can just select each of them. We may not want to have a transition effect on every slide. If we do, we just go in and pick the appropriate one. All the doors. So see color one with all the other effects, and our transition effect and the revolving door. All right. So. That is Keynote, and some really cool stuff you can do there for creating your presentations. Another thing I guess I want to point out is by hitting this format bar option, let me text the text here real quick. This one has some text in here. Just highlight this text. You can see the format bar looks like your traditional word processing. The fact that you can change your your font, if it's bold or italicized, all those different types of things, left, center, justify, all that. You used to have to go into your inspector and go under the text tab to do all those types of things. So they made it a little bit easier now. It takes some steps out of it. And when we go into the next part of the presentation, we'll see where that format bar really comes in nicely. We're also going to, in some of the next programs in the presentation, we're going to look at some of these other features like alpha, which is really cool. So in case you thought I was skipping that, we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about it in a different program. So just that you know that it is available in Keynote, but we'll go more in depth later. So that's Keynote. Quick overview of what's new and how you work with some of these things, what it looks like. Do we have any other questions on Keynote? Yes, sir.
You said you could talk into it. How do you sync the audio track to the slideshow?
Well, what you do is you would actually go through the presentation as if you were presenting it, talking in real time. So you don't just do all the talking and then have it sync it to it. Is that what you're asking?
Well, yeah, but I mean, so you've got to, your voice track has to be with the pace of the slideshow you want it to be. Otherwise,
yes.
It'll be out of sync every other time it's shown.
You do a full dress rehearsal.
Where do you
Full dress.
go in? Where do you go in? What's your settings if you want to go in first?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Record slideshow maybe?
Doesn't say audio.
Yeah, so I see a little record button up there, so. And then you have to advance, I was at the end of the slideshow, so that's probably why. You sure what's broken from the current slide view? Okay. Oh, that's right, because I already started. Hello, welcome to our presentation, blah, 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 blah. Here we go, here's our bar chart. Some really great cool effects, okay. Right, there's the, hey, we know the terms now. Transition effect, and we are done. So, how do I play it? Let's see what happens. I don't have any speakers hooked up, so. And it is playing, so.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's just a full dress rehearsal as you were doing it, and then that's the way it'll stay.
So you don't even have to be there for the presentation, just record it.
That's right, yeah, that's the exact idea. Or maybe you want to post it to like a YouTube or
Yeah, and you
whatever.
can just give people hell and not have to be there.
Do you have to take
You
questions?
can sit out in the audience and ask questions.
Is there a take
All the
questions?
right ones.
All right, so let's get back to here. So that covers Keynote, and next we're going to take a look at Pages. So this is again not brand new to the suite, but again they've made some pretty cool updates to this. So here's what they've done with Pages. It used to be the Pages in iWork 06, it was really meant to be what we call a page layout tool for desktop publishing. You're doing newsletters, flyers, brochures, marketing materials, things of this nature. And it was missing some of the key templates that people were really looking for. So with this round, they've added what we call word processing mode. Because before, what happened was if you wanted to do some word processing, you could do it, but it was kind of goofy and clunky. It wasn't like your traditional word processor that you found in maybe AppleWorks or Microsoft Word. So it's kind of difficult to do, so they changed that and made that easier to do. But they still kept the page layout mode, so you can do some really cool, creative, media-rich documents. And they've added some new templates for that. So one of the other things that they've now done, which I believe the new Office 2007 for PC does this, obviously our Mac version, we're going to have to wait till January for that. I'm pretty sure it does it, but this is new to the iWork suite, change tracking. This is pretty cool. Every time, usually, well I shouldn't say usually, maybe you're working on a document over a multi-day span or a multi-week span, and you're not sure, man, when did I change this to bold, or when did I do this? Why did I do this? So with change tracking, it keeps a tally of all those things that you've changed over time, and then that way you know, oh, I want to go change that back the way it originally was. So you don't forget to do it, because again, it's over multiple days and it's easy to forget. This is pretty cool right here. This is with the instant alpha that we told you about in Keynote. We'll take a look more at it here. Basically, you can take a picture and you can remove all the background and just take like someone out of that picture and then you can put them in another picture and have a little fun with it. It's kind of like which things like you do in Photoshop, but it's obviously not quite as detailed as what you can do. It's a lot easier to do. So that's pretty cool. You can also add frames around pictures, so you can just throw a picture in one of these templates and put a nice frame in to make it look nice. So let's go ahead and take a look at Pages. So once again, when we open up the program, we're going to be introduced to our template chooser. And just like we saw in Keynote, and you can see it broken down. We were talking about you have your word processing mode layout, and you have your page layout. So obviously you can start with a blank word processing layout, which usually happens when you open up like a Word, for example. They have different forms in here for different letters. I'm just going to open up one of these so you get an idea what this looks like. Let's open this up here. You can see here they've kind of threw in a graphic. So if this is your company's, throw your company's name up here and maybe a picture that represents your company. Just fill in your data. It's pretty self-explanatory. Here's the format bar that I was referring to. You did not have this in the previous version of Pages. This makes a huge difference right here. So let's go ahead and look at some of these other templates here. So that's letters. We've got envelopes to match up with those letters that we just made. Different types of forms. This is big. To the best of my knowledge, there was never an invoice form in the old one, and that's what it seems like everybody wanted. iWork is real popular with like small business owners, to have all these templates to work from. So I think it only made sense that they had an invoice now. So let's go ahead and click on one of those and show what that looks like. So again, pops up. You can throw your own company logo in right there. Throw all your stats in. It's got a spreadsheet already built up to automatically do all the calculations, right? So it changes our totals and all that. So
Show resume.
resume, sure. So resumes, here we go. Here's our different types. Is there a particular one you'd like to see?
Modern,
Modern.
upper left.
Yeah, all the templates are.
It just gives you text.
And it just, I guess, I don't know, just highlight the text and then you just type in your own what you'd like to say. You know. Again, you can replace, I'm not sure what this is supposed to be, but. If you have a resume, I don't know if you have your own personal logo, I don't know how that works. I guess each is own. Maybe if you're like Prince, the artist, you don't have a name anymore, you just have a symbol. Alright, so let's see. Alright. And let's go ahead and look at some of these page layout options. So again, we can start with a blank canvas and we can build our own from scratch. We can, the newsletters, these are some of my favorite ones in here. You can really do some cool stuff. This is one of my favorites right here. Let's open this up. And again, all these programs really, once you get one done, you got them all in. Because let me just bring up our media browser on this one again, just like we did in Keynote, right? I brought up the template earlier. Here we can go right into our photos again, and I can just drag and drop. So it keeps everything the same. So there's our little text box.
Now, can you adjust that picture, like grab it and pull it down in the
You sure
frame?
can. And let me make sure I got just the picture highlighted and then the whole box. This will allow a little bit of that. It is possible. You just have to believe me on this one.
Maybe that's all the content you have.
I'm not sure why it's on. I've done it before.
What I'm trying to do is stretch the picture.
Hold down the space bar.
Take the center square in the middle and pull it down and see what happens. Down to the bottom. Yeah, pull that down. Ooh, it's changing the size now.
I think that's it, he didn't have a head.
Yeah. But he had a head in the picture he took it from.
Right.
Yeah, just
So
barely.
it's
It's
there.
right at the top.
It's there somewhere. Oh, there, I see it.
There we go.
Yeah.
I double click. So double clicking got me into the actual picture.
Ah.
There we go. All right. So again, just to go to show you the idea of the media browser again, how it's the same recurring theme throughout all of them. And the same thing happens for audio and movies. Now, we didn't show that in Keynote, but maybe we just want to drag a video clip right into our Keynote presentation. Same thing. You can do it here. You might think, well, why would I want to put a movie into a Pages document? Because usually they get printed. Well, the really cool thing is you can have like a, if you save it as a, let's look at the export options here in Pages. If you save it as a Pages document, send it to another Mac user, they can actually have plain movie inside of a document. How cool is that? Of course, if you go out to Word, I'm pretty sure it's not going to support that. Here's some other options that you can export as. A PDF, if you just want to guarantee everything's going to stay the same. They can't edit it, of course, unless, again, they have the Acrobat product, but everything's going to look exactly the same. If you go out to a Word, again, you just have to be careful. Some features may not transfer over properly. It really depends on the capabilities of Word more than Pages. It just has to be able to support the things that you
Will
do.
this import PDF too?
That's a good question. I have a slide on that later, all the import options. I think so, but I'm not 100%. So when we get towards the end here, it talks about that in one of the last slides.
But you can drag movies into the file, and as long as it's not hard copy, if it's digital, they should be opened up and see the movie.
Exactly. If they're on their computer, I'll just show you. I'll just drag. This is only 8 seconds. I can just drag. There's the film. They can actually just. So now they're watching a movie right inside of the document.
If you did a Pages file and then imported that into Keynote, it would then play? If you created a page like this on Pages and then put that in as a page or as a slide in Keynote, can you do that?
You cannot. No, you can do that in iWeb because it'll actually just show the a version of it. But unfortunately, Keynote doesn't accept like a Word or any of these export formats, PDFs.
Will it accept, well, if you save this particular file as a Pages file, and can you then import that into Keynote?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't believe so. But again, you could probably build a very similar type thing in there.
Yeah, I'm just thinking with the formats that are already really good or done, if you really like that.
We can try.
Well, will Keynote import PDFs?
That was the question earlier, and well, we can go ahead.
Couldn't you just put the movie directly into Keynote and skip the business about putting it on page and importing the page?
Well, if you like the Pages layout, it's not available in Keynote.
I see.
You do it on Pages and then put it in there.
So we'll just go to the slide now. So you can import JPEG to blah blah blah. No, and PDF exports PDF. So no, you cannot import PDF.
Okay.
So the one thing I can try to do, well, Pages do it. Here's the. So let me drag it over to Keynote. No.
What if you save that to the desktop and then? Then go to Keynote. Is there an import in Keynote that you could go to? No? What about just opening?
Insert.
Yeah.
Nope.
No, won't let you.
Get it.
Open just gonna open up a new keyboard.
I just wonder if you went to open and selected that, would it recognize it as a?
Doesn't appear that way. All right. So while we're in this layout mode, and we're gonna take a look at more of these in a second. Here's a really cool thing because at first we just thought, hey, this is a pretty cool template, but what happens if I want to have like a 10-page newsletter? I noticed that you guys hand out a newsletter here. So if you go to here and add an extra page, you can actually pick. All right, I want this. This is the. So again, it sticks with kind of that theme that you're in, but gives you a different look and feel for the next page. And again, you just bring up your media browser, you drag up your pictures, you highlight the text, you type in what you want to say. You go in and add a new page. Maybe you just want to do all text on this page, no pictures. So pretty cool stuff. Again, as we saw before, we can add text boxes in different shapes. I guess we didn't take a look at this, but I think this is pretty self-explanatory. We wanted to create our own custom areas to drop pictures and such, different tables and charts, which we looked at in Keynote.
Does the text flow around it? Sure.
Yes, yes, you can have it do it by going to your inspector. And right, this tab right here. Object causes wrap. So there, how it threw the text down below it now.
What happens if you drag it between two columns? Okay.
So I'm gonna
Cool.
some updates.
Wow.
The processor's working hard.
Yeah.
Some pretty cool stuff.
That is
Try to do
cool.
that in Word.
Yeah, that is cool.
What happens when you import, like if you get a Word document and you wanna do something with that in Pages and then go on from there? Do you still have the same font problems from the Mac to the PC and back again?
Again, yeah, if the font's not available in Word, yeah, it's gonna have an issue.
I'm talking about more if you use an Arial, like an Arial 12 point on the PC and an Arial 12 point on the Mac, is not the same size. Because you'll get page flow from one font, you have to actually go in and massage the font around. Because, apples and apples aren't the same thing between the PC and the Mac.
I guess that's a question I'm not sure about. I know that they've really spent a lot of time and effort on this version of iWork to make sure that to minimize all those issues. So if they were aware of it and were able to do something, I'm sure they did.
Because anytime I import something, or if I open up a Word document that was created on a PC, and even if it's just text, and you open it up on a Mac, and it's one page, most likely you're gonna get a page flow to a second page, because the exact same font isn't technically the same size, even though it is the same size.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it maybe goes on the
they'll
next page or
compensate for
something.
that, yeah.
Again, I've never tried that before, so I don't know.
Okay.
If at the end, if you wanna, I can write that down and get back to her. You can write down my email and email it to me,
Okay.
and then, or you can
I'll
always
just go
stop
home and play
by.
with it.
Or if you have it too, yeah. Everyone's always welcome to stop down to the CompUSA store. I'm there full time for these types of questions and to look at these types of things. So. All right, so back on track. Let's take a look at the track changes that we were talking about earlier. So by clicking this button, it's going to pop up with an area. So let's just go ahead and change some text here. So it's going to tell me, all right, on this date, I added some text. And then maybe I'm going to italicize this.
Will that convert to any other language?
Pardon me?
Will it convert to English or whatever?
Yeah, I just.
No, I mean the other,
We can't read Latin.
that text down there. The text you brought in.
Is there a convert to English?
That convert to English.
Well,
Just highlight it and
again,
type
this
it.
I just started typing. I was just typing nonsense, so I can actually type in real text. This is automatically. This is just placement wise. Yeah, you just highlight and then type what you wish.
Okay.
And that's just like you said, for placement to get an idea of what it's going to look like before it's a finished product.
You see that
So if
on
you start
our
with
page layout programs.
Yeah, if you start with a blank page, you really don't get an idea of what you're. You wouldn't have an idea what it's supposed to look like when it's done.
In the text changes, does it add the author? And if there are various authors working
Like
on
color.
one document?
Yes, yes, like this, all the different colors of here, yes. If I were to save this and bring it up on another computer, and I'm not sure how you would choose that color, maybe in this option here. It'll always show up as different colors. So that way if you had your friend proofread it for you, you know that that's what he did or she did, or maybe they threw in a comment or something, you know exactly what's going on. Let's take a look at some of these other templates here real quick, and then we'll look at this alpha thing, which is pretty cool. So again, we looked at newsletters already. We got some brochures, 3-panel brochures are pretty popular. Let's just pop in one of those and see what that looks like real quick. Just to show this both sides of it, right? And again, just
Can you go up to view and tell it to fit in the window? Zoom? Yeah, go to Zoom and see if it'll, no, won't let you change it. It just must be a resolution thing.
yeah, well, right now I'm 800 by 600, so that's not really an ideal working situation
Right.
nowadays for any computer, I don't think. So, let's go ahead and take a look at some of this other stuff here. Flyers. These are pretty cool, actually. I actually used one of these not too long ago. I was selling an old Canon printer, and I live in an apartment building, so I just made one of these up here real quick and threw a picture of the printer in with the ink that I was selling from it, put a price, just put my name and info down here on one of these. It automatically threw it on all of them. And I just cut them, and all someone has to do is come up and rip it. Now, how many times have you seen somebody do that, and it looks all sloppy? And so, just things like that. Just those little things sometimes just make it more of a professional appearance, so. By the way, I did sell the printer, so I guess it worked. Posters, these were here before, these are kind of cool. If you're promoting some type of event.
On your cards and invitations, business cards and stuff like that, are those designed to fit on like Avery pre-formatted?
Yes, just like in Word, you can choose like the Avery template number or
Yeah,
whatever, like
that's what I would-
8157,
yeah.
things like that, yeah. Cards and invitations, this is actually something that's new. Do you have a question, sir?
Yeah, about the posters, will it do larger size posters by tiling it, so you can print several, you know, if you want to do like a 11 by 14 or something, that print several and tiles them, and you paste them, tape them together, or does it only do the 8.5 by 11?
To the best of my knowledge, not gonna lie to you, time, like if your printer supports that wide format print, like you had one of the wide format Epson printers, for example, you're gonna, you need to have something like that.
But you still can't, you know, take
What about your page
Multiple
setup? Can you
pages.
choose a,
tiling,
it's whatever your printer's, your computer.
like things like Pacemaker and others, you can tile, it didn't before, so unless it's changed.
Select your paper size.
That was, yeah, that's 11 by 17, but
Yeah.
And,
Super
Just
A,
'cause
yeah, Super B it does too, so. It may tile automatically if you select that page.
Well, it appears, yeah.
Go back up to page setup and just select letter size, and it'll probably reduce that size altogether. US letter. That way you can see a little better.
I think all those are generally standard size paper.
Yeah. And then, but it did
Pick
give you the
yourself-
option to create your own size sheet too.
Yeah, you might get yourself in trouble doing this because you're gonna have to. Let's see, you gotta drag each individual object by itself, so that's a little hairy.
For cards and invitations, has anybody ever done a cost analysis of buying over making your own, cost and that?
I think it's more of a convenience thing. It's probably always gonna be cheaper to buy, especially if you're buying in bulk.
it depends on your printer too.
Right. Well, if you're gonna buy good cardstock, that's gonna cost you a good amount of money. Your printer, depending on how
If it
much
can handle the
ink is.
cardstock, yeah.
Right. So, business cards. This is also something they've added brand new. They did not have before, which a lot of people were looking for. So that's nice to have. You just come in here and it throws them all up for you. Yep. All right, let me choose one here where we can show off this alpha. Actually, let's just do a blank canvas here, just to make this, since we're having a resolution issue. So, here's just a blank canvas where we can build our own custom template. It's also, by the way, if we did build our own custom template, maybe we opened up a template and changed it around the way we want, we can save it as a template. That way we can always open it up later and just adjust it from there. And maybe we created our own newsletter, but we didn't want to stick with the exact template that's in there. We change it around to our look and feel of our organization, and then we save it, and then we can just go back into that template, change stuff as the years go on, things like that. So first of all, I'm going to go into my media browser, and I have some photos set up just for this. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag this picture over here first. All right. And then I'm going to drag this picture on top. Get rid of that media browser. What I'm going to do is go ahead and enable Instant Alpha. On here, there's not an icon for it. I'm not sure why. As you saw earlier in Keynote, there's a little icon. What's going to ask me to do is click and drag the area that you want to be transparent. So I want to just get the guy out of here, right? So I'm going to drag until I start to see that purple get on the guy. And I'm going to back it off a little bit. And then I'm going to come into another area. See how you can see the picture coming up in the background of the lake? So just keep on going until you get all that taken away. It may take a little while. Again, it's pretty cool how it works. It's not the It's not as quick as like well, I guess it could be quicker in Photoshop, just may not be
Oh,
as.
If you're doing masking, it can be tedious.
So it's just kind of helping you out and making it easier for you.
Water speak.
Yeah, exactly. So you get the idea. I'm not going to go through all the way. You can adjust where you want to put them, and all of a sudden now you've got a snowboarder in the water next to your family. So that is the instant alpha. So that is pages and some of the new features. Again, a lot of this stuff carries over. So do we have any questions about pages? Yes, sir.
Just a generic question. I bought one of the, maybe the last version. I bought the family edition because I was afraid it wouldn't run. If you just buy one copy, it should run on two computers, right? Your laptop and your main computer, like you have a desktop.
When you buy a single pack, it's only licensed to be used on one computer.
So if you really want to have it on your two computers, then you need to buy the family pack.
Yeah,
Yes.
legally.
Yes.
But will it work? That's what I want to. I don't want to buy two of them unless, pay the extra unless I have to. I'm only going to use it on my two computers.
He won't answer that
Keep in mind, you're
question.
asking
You
an
will answer that
Apple.
question. Yes, it will, but you do have to register iWork as opposed to iLife. There is a registration when you install iWork.
All I can say is, yes, it's only licensed on one computer. If you buy the family pack, it's up to 5. Now just keep this in mind. It's only an extra $20 to get the family pack.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing, and then you're also keeping it affordable for everybody else down the road. Because if everybody starts stealing it, the iWork's going to cost $200 next year. So, again, if you're thinking about doing some of those things, not only is it the right thing to do, but
Pay the $20.
it's $20.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Exactly.
okay. I'll do that.
Thank you.
I didn't like
And
that.
same way
And you
with,
keep me having a job too. So.
same way when Mac OS comes out, they have the single thing and then they have the family box, which is good for 5 computers. Instead of $129 or $39, it's like $200,
Yeah.
and you cover it.
And just look at, the Microsoft equivalent to that. First of all, you got to spend $200 just for their base edition of their OS. If you want the ultimate edition, you're already paying $500, and that's only for one computer. So that's a steal. It's already a steal before you steal it.
What is the price of the iWorks, which includes pages and notebook and?
We'll take a look at that here in a second.
Okay.
We'll take a look at it here in a second. All right. So no more questions about pages.
Yeah, are there any problems at all with exporting pages into Microsoft?
I've had fewer problems going to Word than to PowerPoint. So again, this gentleman up front here, I don't know if you heard him ask the question about fonts. If you had the exact same font in a Mac and a PC, he said it tends to be a little bit different for some reason.
Size-wise.
Size-wise, like you might bring some of your text to the next page sometimes or just throw it off a little bit. I've never had any issues, and all I can say, you have to treat it by case-by-case basis. And,
It's just
they've made sure that in this edition, they've really been touting the ability to go back and forth between the Office products. So I'm sure that if it was a thing that they could do and if it was feasible for them, that they would have done it. So some things just aren't possible, so
What's the lowest system that'll work on?
we're going to cover that here in a second also. Yep. All right, so let's go ahead and carry on. So that was pages, part of our 3-program suite. And now we're going to take a look at numbers. So numbers is brand new to iWork. It is a spreadsheet-based application. Maybe if you used AppleWorks before and you always wanted to buy iWork, but you're like, it doesn't have a spreadsheet in it, so I still need AppleWorks. Or maybe you're using Microsoft Office, and maybe you're just sick of giving money to Microsoft. You're like, I really wish I could just get away from this. You couldn't do that before, and now you can. So, because Numbers is a really advanced application. So let's take a look at what it looks like. You can see there, we got a lot of stuff going on, and I think that kind of goes to show the creative nature of most Mac users. They don't want a boring spreadsheet. They want it to look nice too. So I think that was a big focus with Numbers. Not only just to have just plain old boring numbers, but let's make it look pretty too and have a fun time doing it. So first of all, a flexible canvas. To the best of my knowledge, this isn't available in Excel on Office. You can literally have different, on the same page without having to have a different workbook, different charts and spreadsheets and different formulas, and the columns don't have to line up exactly. So that's pretty cool. Here's just some different screenshots of what that looks like. So if you notice, you start off with the full sheet, you can just drag it up to make it smaller, and we'll take a look at that here in a second. You can add a new sheet in and just really just adjust it wherever you want. And have your formula set up and it's invariably customizable. If you want to add in a new column, you can do it that way. You can drag and drop. So just like we saw in the other programs, Pages and Keynote, create really cool charts and different things of that nature. Example of that, just select on our charts. And again, it's the same interface. We look at, and again, we'll get into the program here in a second, but if you look at the top, it's the same thing we've already been used to. We even got a format bar for our text and our bold and our center and left justify and all that good stuff. Throw in some pictures. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Let's take a look at numbers. Just like all the other programs that we've looked at today, we're going to first be shown a template chooser. So I've got some pretty cool stuff in here, stuff that people would normally use on a regular basis. Obviously, you can start off with a blank chart, spreadsheet, excuse me. Go to checklist, budget. This might be a thing that you might use in your small business or maybe for your home, personal finances. Go ahead and open up that one here real quick. Let's see here. So here's an example of how you can just do exactly whatever you want to do. Just drag and drop. You want to. You can see here we have this is our main sheet called personal budget, and then it lists individually all of our different sheets under here that we have set aside. Let's roll over here so I can show this. So let's do this. Another pretty cool thing is while you actually have a sheet highlighted, you can go ahead and change how that sheet looks just by this left sidebar. Nothing too big, but if we're trying to help differentiate these different sheets from one another, we may want to have each a different color.
And the column and row headings show only when you have it highlighted.
Right.
That is correct.
That's cool.
So notice like it just says monthly net income and then boom, we highlight it now so it actually show us that.
How did you
Click anywhere, click anywhere, yes. Click anywhere and it's just going to wipe that. And again, I know we've been talking about this before, but just so we have a unified interface, we've got the format bar up here again, so we can do all these different types of things. Let me just go down and show how easy it is just to do one of these formulas. You know, I'm pretty sure this is available in Excel, but I don't think it's as easy to get to. So if you're used to typing equals, parentheses, sum, blah, 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 just come in here under your function button and say, all right, I want to take the average of these numbers. And it's going to do that for me. I want the product of these numbers and so on. So just highlight the cell you want, choose your function.
What if you had three numbers instead of product? Is it going to multiply all three of them together?
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
boy.
So look, yeah. Here we go. This will be like in the billions probably. Right here.
Ah, yes.
Quick question, can you make your own formulas?
You sure can. Yeah. You can do the traditional formulas like you're used to.
I mean, it's sort of like a little BBA or like a little basic equation?
Where's the slot for
Like a numerical integration or black body calculation?
Oh boy.
I'm not familiar with any of those. So
Dr. George is leaning on
You know, it just uses all of the functions, or I mean, some of the functions that you already have, you know, sine or exponentiation or sum or something.
Oh, it's like a macro kind of.
Yeah, like a macro.
Okay.
Can you do that?
I don't know.
It's a compound equation with all these different functions in it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about that.
They have to.
I played with it for a while and couldn't find it.
I'm not that complicated with my spreadsheet usage. So.
I thought about maybe with this table business, maybe you could do that, what you're talking about in a table. You know, you said you could get information between tables
Yeah, if you had, like, maybe this was the equation that you were talking about, and there's
Yeah.
another one over here, and then you just tell it to point to that. I can't see why that wouldn't work, yeah. But you'd have to type it out first, I think. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna have it saved.
Up there where you're, with your formula line, you could type in there.
Or actually, you probably just wanna highlight the areas, since there's multiple B5s.
Yeah. Plus, and then click something else. Yeah.
And you can see it gives you different colors.
Yeah.
Lets you know it's coming from a different area.
And there's your,
And there's our band. It all ended up for us.
You mess with that.
So,
And that would put a different highlighted color in the box.
in this box right here?
No, down on the planned expenses over to the right.
Oh,
It's got a brown highlight, is that there?
just because I had, that was the last thing I clicked on.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let me get into a different template here. Create some of those. There's some other really cool stuff in here, like, let me go to this travel planner one. There's some really tight integration with our other applications. This one I'm gonna highlight address book with this one. So as you can see on this sheet, this template, we've got an activity list right there, right? And this shows we got one sheet called activities. That's this thing right here. But I've also got a second sheet called reservations. And I've got, within that, I've got a couple reservations, flight reservation, emergency contact. Right? So I got like names and address and all this stuff. So check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and open up address book. Shrink this down here. All right. Come on, let's get smaller on this. So under reservations here, right, let's say that we put the, maybe emergency contacts might be better. Those are real life things we have in our address book usually. I'll tell you, it's 800 by 600. All right, so here's a contact, right? Take it, drag and drop. Boom, we just added it. And it usually gives me a name. I'm not sure why I didn't do that. Let's try this one. There's other things. So Apple. Oop. Of course. You got a sword. Bring it over this way, right?
didn't put it
Those
in.
are right.
There it is, it added a new line at the bottom, so.
Yeah, it's in there, but
Oh.
usually it puts the name in.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going over there.
What if you drag it into the accommodations column?
First column.
This one here.
No,
No,
left,
the blue
left,
column on the
left,
left or
left,
something.
left.
There you go. No?
Well, as I was practicing this yesterday, I put it in just fine. Of course.
Well, control drag.
Anyway, you get the idea. Because of the tight integration, makes it a little bit easier, so you're not having to type in all this information yourself.
So if you make a change in the address book, does it come across?
I'm gonna have to probably say no on that, because this is its own separate file, because if you don't have the file open when you do it, it's not gonna know, I guess. We can try it out. So what are the ones in there? It's Sydney, Apple computer, that guy in there, so let's just change the address to 2. Oh, that's right. Nope. So not that fancy.
It's on the to-do list.
All right, let's go back in here, pick one of these other templates. This one's kind of cool, actually, right here, this comparison chart. Maybe you're out shopping for a new vehicle or a new home, or I guess any number of things. This is kind of a cool template to start from. You can just add in each thing you're comparing, whether it's a car or whatever. You can actually change all this different criteria here to your own criteria. And then when you click on this, you can actually hit this arrow and you can rate each one. So the make, maybe you're not so happy with the make on this one. Oops, not not so happy. So you're saying, all right, good, but I do like the model, it's an excellent, and so on and so forth. And then when you go down the bottom, you've got your total ratings for each, in this example, car. So let me scroll back to the top here. You see car 3 as I scroll all the way down. NA, good, excellent, best, excellent. So overall, we got this one's excellent. So it helps us make those decisions a bit easier. And then maybe throw in some stuff on the bottom here, like calculate the loan price and all that good stuff. So, not something you maybe use every day, but nonetheless pretty neat. Yeah, the same thing for mortgages, easier here. Let me go into a blank one here for a second, so we can look at some of these other things. So, once again, we just want to shorten this thing up and just drag it right on up. And then let's just type in a bunch of data here. Right. And then let's say we want to make a chart now for this data. Again, we saw this earlier, but just to show you the idea that it's the same throughout all of them. Bring up our chart. And we can adjust the size of that chart. Obviously, this is pretty small, but so we have the, we can all see it. If we want to go change it to a different style, just come right in here to our chart organizer, and it does that for us. Maybe a pie graph.
Do they have scatter as an example? Or is it
Yes.
Like Excel scatter?
Yes, and it is, where is it? No. Explode, they call it. Explode? Yep, and actually right now I'm only showing one thing, so let me go back to why is it only showing 100%.
Because you've got all the other fields highlighted, if you just highlight the fields with numbers in them. You know, just select the actual cells, I'm sorry. Just drag them, and then make your chart. There you go.
So yeah, it is under explode. Like this, is that what you're talking about?
No, plus X versus Y. Or Y.
Oh, to
versus
change
X.
the axis?
Yeah.
No,
A line chart.
a line chart.
Oh, a line chart. So like this. I don't have the other set of numbers on there, so.
Well, you did 1, 2, 3, 4, didn't you?
You only got the, you know,
Oh, yeah.
You can see the picture here. Get the right set of data in there, it'll do the line charts.
How about if you highlight, starting from the 1 down to the 57, or 575,000, yeah, like that. Now click line chart.
There you go.
Okay.
Ah,
All right.
then you can go three-dimensional with it too.
There's also the others.
Now, put a 1 in a cell of the spreadsheet. Yeah. And put a 1 in there. Then drag from that little dot there, drag that down. What happens? Okay. Now, go up and do it again, and now this time hold down a control key or option key or something. Whoops.
Control, it wants to do a control click, so option. So again,
In Excel, that'll That'll make it 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well,
You
go
have to have
put
two.
two,
You have to
right.
have one.
Put two down below it.
It'll continue after you
Right.
have two basic
Now
letters.
select those two cells and pull it down.
Yeah, that should just be pulled on regular and it'll do
That's
it.
all that does.
Okay, that's with no click, yeah. Alright. It's just supposed to follow the next logical order, what it thinks.
I use that 1,000 times.
Oh, yeah.
This is what it's showing here. I think that was all I really wanted to look at in
I have a question.
numbers. Yes.
Can you publish your chart to Keynote and Pages? And will it update? So like you have a presentation in Keynote, you're
Right.
using the chart in numbers, statistical analysis or what have you. And then you make changes and update it for another presentation because the information changes.
So kind of like the question earlier, if you change the address book contact information,
Well,
will it change?
I can see where address book might be different, but in a publication like that.
In the iWork bundle, does it do that?
Well, first of all,
Well, if it publisher, yeah.
I don't believe, just as we saw earlier, we're not gonna, we'll try it, but I don't think you're gonna be able to take like, cause you can, well, I guess you can't do the full flexibility what you can do in numbers. Cause you can do a table, and you can use equations, and like if you're in Keynote, you can set up a table and put in equations just like you can here. Now, whether you can drag and drop it in there, or save it on the desktop and bring it, I'm pretty sure you can't do that. So, and again, I'm pretty sure, again, it's not gonna update automatically, because I don't think it's gonna even let you bring it in.
Well, normally it used to be if you published it to that publication, then it would automatically update.
So in iWork 06 you're referring to?
No, in other
In
programs,
Office.
that's why I
In
was wondering,
Office, I got
like you can in Excel, if you do
Well,
a
we
chart
can
in
try
Excel.
here. So you're referring to Keynote, right? If you're in
Either
Keynote?
one, if you're even doing a newsletter and you change the information.
Gotcha.
But it'd be especially helpful if it was in Keynote, that way you're doing a presentation on statistics or what have you, you could update it then.
Let's take a look here.
Just drag your worksheet into Keynote and see if it'll drag in.
Select everything.
Where's 0, 0, the column row thing? Are we down at row?
There you go.
Looks like you put it in there. So now the question is, will it automatically update then?
Change the name and the numbers.
You actually read what it's.
Yeah, let's try to go to here and see.
Yeah, it's actually there.
So, we got 1 and 2 over there, that's easy to see, so we'll change that.
Let's see what happens. Change this one to 3.
And you didn't enter it yet,
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Save it, do it all. Do it official.
Nope. I don't think it's quite. What about publish? Well, no, be in the spreadsheet version, but, when there's either, none of those choices that is.
And export's just to how you want to save it, Excel. and all that.
okay.
So your only choice is Excel or CSV, then you can't, that's the only two choices in export. Close.
So,
No, it doesn't update on this.
it does not do that. So let's go ahead and just take the any other questions about numbers before we move on? Good? So we just got a couple more slides to go, because we are officially out of time. So that was numbers. So that completes our suite of applications for iWork 08.
So we had a question earlier about what things can we import and export, so I'll leave that up for a second so everybody has an idea there. This Office Open XML, that's with this new 2007 Office for Windows. So that's a pretty good thing that it supports that. Again, we talked about, if you go out to all the Office products where it's on PowerPoint. This is pretty cool. We can even do our old AppleWorks presentations. You know, if you're using AppleWorks, helps, makes it a little bit easier to come over to iWork. Since now that we have a full productivity suite, we're missing the spreadsheet before. And then some different types of, and actually, we looked at this earlier, I didn't see this, it does say it imports PDF. So.
Yeah, well, one of the things that bothers the devil out of me is come tax time, I download tax forms, they're in PDF. Okay?
Really?
I bring them in, so now I want to fill out my information. And I don't have a full Adobe, so.
Well, even if you have full Adobe, it's not gonna make it an editable electronic form. It's strictly for you to download it and print it and fill it out.
They had to save it as one of the, to be able to fill it out. They had to
Well,
save it as
yeah, they have to actually create an editable form.
Yeah, sometimes, 1 year or so, they allowed you to do that. You couldn't save it, but you could enter the data and print it.
Print, yeah,
Online.
online.
No, even if I print.
No, no,
Yeah,
yeah, but that form is online. Once you couldn't it was strictly a working editable file that you could do and then print. But then once you're done with it, it was gone.
If you download it as a PDF, you can't.
It's just a static.
The only other way is if you import the page into a program, you would do a text box over it, but you'd have to figure out your leading for the lines and tab down and fill out that way.
Or an optical
Which is
character
a lot of
recognition
work.
program that does forms, and then you could,
And what systems again do they work with?
So that's right up next. So first of all, the cost is $79 for a single user. It's $99 for the 5-pack. That's for up to 5 licenses. Here are the system requirements. So you need Tiger. You need a G4 that's 500 megahertz or faster. You need 512 RAM. A gig is recommended. So really, any machine probably within the last, depending on if you got a notebook or desktop. Desktop you go back, way back. Laptops you can probably go back about 5 or 6 years, about 6 years maybe. And probably before that, probably 7 or 8. Laptops, probably 7 or 8 possibly.
if it's a G4.
Before 10 or later.
No.
800, this was purchased, 2003? No, because it says 500. Yeah, but it's a G4, that's what stopped me from upgrading.
Oh, yours was 2003 and it was G3?
Yeah, got one of the last.
I thought it was, okay.
Continued much later.
Obviously, some of these things this is a free download. Again, you don't need it, but we kind of talked about it earlier because of the, some of the things that iLife incorporates with the media browser aspect of things. You don't need it, but some things work out better with iLife away. So here's my info again. On top is my email address. The next two things, if we have a little bit of time, I can get online real quick and show these. So if you ever have any questions, again, you know, I'm in sales for a living. So if I can help anybody out, you know, if you ever have questions about a product, I'll do my best to figure it out for you. I just ask in return you come by for me. So I do weekly seminars every week. They're usually on a Thursday. I'm going to go to this website and show everybody what this looks like because, you know, like this Thursday I'll do it on iPhoto. The next it'll be on iWeb. So everybody that has these questions about, hey, I actually want to see it before I buy it, and maybe I got some questions, here's a great opportunity to come in and do that stuff. And then this right here, the third Saturday of every month, we do a very large presentation. We call it Apple Answer Days. It's at the CompUSA, as well as the seminars. And what happens is, it's from noon to 3, the third Saturday of every month, and you can see what's going on each and every month at this website. And it's a 12 to 3 event. At 2 o'clock, we do a short presentation on a specific topic. This month, it happens to be iWork. So, you know, you guys just saw this. You know, maybe if you have some more questions, maybe something you didn't see, maybe that might be a good time to come in if you wish to purchase. And I see people leaving. I have some good deals that you probably don't want to miss out on. If anybody else is planning on leaving, because I've got some coupons for some money off iWork and Leopard. So all those people that left, they're gonna miss out on that. So make sure you stick around. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet.
Stampeding back in.
So I'm gonna just briefly go and show you both of those websites so you get an idea what that looks like. So this is the seminar website. Go to seminars.apple.com. I'm connected to the links. This one is that
There you go.
the
Yeah,
fast
it should
one?
be.
Take that out.
All right, so here's for Apple worldwide. There's seminar and training events. There's online ones. There's different big events at different larger venues. What you want to do is come down here in events in U.S. cities and just, of course, pick Ohio. And then, of course, pick, after this, you're going to pick Dayton, which looks like it's the only one left, which is kind of weird because usually they show like Columbus because the Apple Store in Cincinnati. And it's going to give you a breakdown of all the events that I'm holding, and you can click on View Details to learn about it. Here, your photos like you've never seen before. We're going to be showing iPhoto in this one, right? Enjoy the way you work. We're going to talk about iWork. So you can come in here. The very important thing to do, if you're going to do this, I please ask that you register by hitting this link. What this does for me is if I need to cancel the event or change it because of some type of emergency or something, if there's nobody registered, I'm going to go ahead and change my plans. If there's people registered, I'm going to either notify you by email or call you and say, hey, look, I had something come up. We need to change it. So if you decide to show up without registering, just be aware that if something happened, I may not be there. The CompUSA website, if you go to compusa.com/Apple, not only is there some great information on there about our products, and it's a great way to, it's a great tool to add onto Apple's website to learn about new Apple products, but you can see they update it every month with the Apple Answers Days, and it tells what it's going to be. Again, it's the third Saturday of every month. It's noon to 3 with a short presentation at 2. You don't have to be there for the whole time, obviously, if you just want to see the prezo. Come there at 2. It's a really informal thing. We don't have a projector up on this. We're on the sales floor just showing you at a computer. Same thing with the seminars that we talked about. So, with that being said, thank you everyone for having me here today. And I talked the store into this, and this is something I normally don't do, so I only have 20 of these, but what I have are these coupons that if you go and purchase either iLife or Leopard when it comes out, they're going to give you $10 off. Now, you can only use one coupon per product, so you can't use like 3 of these and get $30 off, of course. So, Mark, I already know you're thinking it.